her research?
Well, I've never met the lady. I have a great deal of respect for her.
Sure.
I have a very close dear friend who, I will tell you this, and I will deny I ever said it.
Okay.
There's a member of PI 40 who runs a think tank in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
No? Well, it's a source. She might want to talk to him. He's a man I trust, a man I admire and respect, and he is on the inside. And he told Catherine one time, he says, "You want to meet an alien? Mm-hmm. I can arrange it." And she evidently scurried off.
Right.
And so he was never forced to deliver on his promise. But if you ever are in Washington and you get a chance, say hello to John for me, will you?
I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
that
trust
story is on Catherine's website. She
says
she always regretted
that she never took him up on
that she didn't take him up.
All right. Well, John is one who not only knows aliens, but he's probably got a couple on his board. That's how involved we are with at least one group.
Absolutely.
Now, everybody says, which group is which, you know? Are they the lizards, are they the reptiles, or are they this, or are they that? It doesn't matter. We're dealing with some groups out there that are 1,000,000 years ahead of us in evolution, technology, and development. There are intelligent races out there that are 1 billion years ahead of us. We found stars out there that probably have planets that are 3 times as old as our star, meaning that probably the planets and intelligent life on those planets around those stars are maybe 3 times older. We've been here, what, 11 billion? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nothing. The universe, is the last they figured it was 14 billion. And then they had an astronomer on us. I love this. They had an astronomer one day who said, "We can't figure this out. We found stars that are older than the universe." And I thought, nitwit, do you think perhaps you ought to go back to the drawing board? That maybe you missed something in Astronomy 101. Anyhow, I diverge here.
Well,
what I'm trying to tell you is we are immersed in a universe that is conscious, teeming with conscious intelligence. And there are planets out there like grains of sand, filled with intelligent life. Mm-hmm. And there are cultures, civilizations, societies that are 1,000,000 years ahead of us. Now, I like this because it's an exercise I'd like to throw out to kids. I put together a curriculum one time for grade school kids on this subject. Mm-hmm. They'd have burned me at the stake. The school board would have if I had ever tried to get this thing accepted. But when you stop to think about these realities, that this species, in all of its primitive savagery, with all of its limited, heartbreaking, ignorant, stupid way of trying to go about life, that there are cultures and civilizations and societies out there that, if not perfect, have reached a level so far beyond what we have here. And that I know this, and I sense this, and I feel this in my gut. And that's why I pick up the paper and I read the latest garbage. And the killings, and it's no wonder that I have not become a recluse. I cannot live in that world anymore. And the reason I think I gave you earlier is that my old world view, my paradigm, collapsed around my knees 20 years ago.
Sure.
Now, if it's turned me into a cynical recluse, what would it do to the masses of people out there that are going about their tiddly-ass little business, their little lives, going bowling, going to NASCAR races, drinking their beer, chomping their chips, and thinking that this is a good life. When you and I know that that's not so.
Right. Well, actually, you show me a remarkable amount of consciousness, of love, of, you know, you have a vibrant spirit that's very amazing. I mean, you're very eloquent. So this has not been all bad. This information has actually enlightened you and made you who you are today.
Yeah, it certainly has. What I am today is a total product of not only 78 years on this planet, but I've always liked to say that, you know, I've lived a couple of hundred lifetimes because I'm totally convinced of the reality of reincarnation.
Good for you.
I've just made my mind up that I ain't coming back here again. The point I'm getting at is I have a love-hate relationship with the human race. I
Sure.
really do.
Understandable.
I have a love-hate relationship with this species. And if I were to be able to grab this species by the collar and slap the living shit out of them, I would do so. But what I'm doing here with you and your little camera is, to some degree, doing just that. If my words have any meaning or have any value to not only to you guys, but to anyone in the future who sees this, it is that I love this race. I've been a part of it for 78 years this time. I've seen pure hell. I've been through 2 wars. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I raised 2 kids, lost one to suicide. I've seen things in this life that have affected me a lot. But you see, I know. And don't tell me and don't ask me to explain exactly how I know and how much I know, because I have never shared this before, but I have been contacted. That's very difficult to talk about. I've been abducted. I don't look upon it as an abduction. I look upon it as an invitation, and I've been aboard some of those ships several times. I've had even friends come up to me and say, "Oh my God." A friend up in Sedona, a doctor, a dentist, he said, "I was abducted." And he says, "When I came to up there, I look around and I see you standing over in the corner talking to some of these guys." And I said, "Well, I'm not surprised, because I've been aboard the ship several times."
Do you have conscious recall?
Oh
of this?
yes. You know, no hypnotic regression needed. When that happens to you, it makes such an imprint on you that you don't need to be hypnotically regressed to remember. I mean, it's there. It's like a scar. It's there. No, I've been aboard several times, and I suspect much of the information I've got about the depth of the societies and the civilizations and the cultures that exist out there, that makes me know how glorious some of them are. And then I look around this mud heap that we're living in here, and I think, knowing what it could be and what it's not, and hopefully what it might be. I've touched a nerve here. I've touched a nerve in that I have shared some things with you that I have seldom shared with anybody except the lovely lady I lived with. I don't think I've ever publicly on an interview or anywhere ever shared the fact that I have been aboard their ships. Because if I had ever done that, it would have opened a Pandora's box that I was not prepared to deal with.
Mm.
Now she has a different story. She talks to them and meets with them all the time. But that's another story. No, I've shared with you this afternoon a couple of little things.
Well, we're honored.
Why I feel so strongly that this truth, that we're not alone, we've never been alone, that we are intimately involved in this interrelationship. We are family with them. And yes, we are in a zoo, and they are, in a degree, to an extent, are zookeepers. Now, you don't share that with everybody out there. Old Jerry Falwell, wherever he may be right now, God bless his soul. No, he's not there, Marcia. There is no such place as that. She's pointing down. No, hell doesn't exist. Hell is of our own making.
Yeah, I believe that.
But there are people out there that I spoke in Dallas one time. That's what we call Bible Belt. It's right in the middle of Bible Belt in Texas, you know. And I laid some pretty hairy things out there in front of about 800 people one afternoon. And I looked at people's faces and I saw their eyebrows rise and their mouths drop and little old ladies going, you know. And after it was all over with, I looked down the aisle and here comes this little rotund, round little Baptist fundamentalist minister with his Bible under his arm, and he's heading for me. And I thought, oh God, we're going to be rolling on the floor here in a minute, because I've shared some pretty blunt things here for that group over there in the Bible Belt.